Okay, people, hello. Deception Stoppers here, and this is Mark with you all today. And what I'm going to be presenting to you all is a couple of um, statements and records from the bankruptcy court. Okay, now this is going to be a continuation from the video titled "Bankruptcy Fraud in Columbus, Ohio." So this is basically part two to that. This is just a screen capture, a visual to outline the judge's incompetence and ignorance in this case herein. Now, as you can see, I have a document on the screen. This document on the screen is the transcript from the proceeding. Okay, now I'm not going to read this whole transcript. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's too much to read at the moment. I just want to point some things out to you and get straight to the point to bring some things to the forefront here. All right. Now, we're going to talk about some of these questions here that was going back and forth. Some of these questions that's going back and forth here. Okay.
You know that this is supposed to be public record, but they intentionally hid it.
Yeah, this is supposed to be public record on item number 133 filed in the Moses's bankruptcy record. So it will be record number 133 that was filed, and that's the actual transcript, but they have it blocked so the public can't see it. So I'm making it available for you on this channel to see, because there will be no cover-ups or anything. Everything will be out. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to just choose some questions and things like that to just highlight some things. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, I was on the record in the court, and the court failed to protect Moses from the deceptive practices of Mr. Riedel, and all constitutional rights invoked, none waived for this whole entire video. All right, getting right into it. Okay. Moses asked, did this court protect me as a debtor, yes or no? Explain why. I answered, no, it did not. The way that I want to explain it, I want to explain it as just what I witnessed. I'm trying not to get upset here because I'm just really upset. But what I witnessed is I watched this court proceed like a circus, and you being Moses was treated, and you were treated like you were being brought in here for something when you are the one that's bringing the action. And this court didn't protect you in no way. It caused blank, blank, blank. It drove up your expenses. It didn't consider any of the traveling costs. It drove up your expenses. Okay, you know, and it allowed even me to be abused, because when I was here, I was abused with giving my ID out, and I refused. That I shouldn't have to do that. All constitutional rights is invoked on this record, so I can say what I want to say. So moving right along, with that being said, this whole thing has just upset me because my brother is a good man, and he don't deserve to go through this, and this is a circus. People is playing. This is a circus. This thing is not being handled right. This paperwork, this stuff being kicked and peddled around, these people is carrying on like kids. I'm the youngest person in this courtroom just by looking, but I probably act older than everybody in this courtroom, because everybody, and they cut it off. Everybody's acting like a bunch of kids. The court. Okay, Mr. McCormick, thank you. The court also said, thank you very much. That is enough. no, Mr. McCormick, you are not excused. So the judge is telling me at this juncture that I'm not excused because she's getting ready to allow Mr. Timothy Riedel with Bailey Cavalieri to try to harass me and pick me apart on the stand and you know, and talk about things that's not relevant to the cause of action that was taking place. Okay. She said, Mr. Riedel, if you wish to articulate an objection, please do so when you stand so that I'm not trying to guess where you are. Mr. Riedel said, thank you, Your Honor. Yes, I would object. And Mr. Riedel said, obviously, he's talking again about the prior proceedings before this court. So Mr. Riedel is trying to, at this juncture, manipulate the record because he's saying to the judge that I am speaking of the alleged violation from the first incident, because there was 2 incidents involving Mr. Riedel and his client. When he's saying I'm still talking about the first incident, when that wasn't true at all. They were just trying to be slicksters, trying to slick the record. Okay? But they wasn't slicking nothing. All right? So I responded, me being the witness. I said, I'm talking about now, basically now being the second violation. The court said, Mr. McCormick, your role here again is to answer questions that are posed properly. Your role is not to act as an advocate or amicus or anything else. This is warning number 2. If I have to issue warning number 3, I will ask the court security officer to escort you out of the courtroom. Do you understand? And they having me saying, yes, I don't. The court says, thank you. Mr. Riedel says, Your Honor, again, the witness's testimony is not germane or relevant to the second motion filed in March of 2018, so I will object to this line of questioning and move to strike the irrelevant answer. The court says, Mr. Moses McCormick, I'm going to grant the motion to strike because I can't discern what the relevance is to your current motion. I invite you to ask more questions that might illustrate that it is pertinent to this motion. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute. This is all bullshit. They're going back and forth. They're in there acting at this point. Okay, Timothy Riedel and the bankruptcy judge Preston they're bullshitting at this point. Okay, now the question was posed. When SMG violated the stay in the court order, well, the stay for the second time and the court order, was it damaging for me? This is what Moses McCormick was asking me. And I said, yes. He said, explain how. I said, traveling costs, canceled classes, and the time that you had to take to prosecute this action. And he also asked me another question. Did I ask SMG to send me or to violate this court order and the stay? Did I ask them to send me that information? Answer was no, you did not request any information from them. And Mr. Moses McCormick rested his questions there. Okay. All right. Okay, now Mr. Riedel goes in to cross-examine me. Okay, he's asking me again about shit that does not pertain to the current situation that we're there on. Okay, there was a motion filed which created a court date, and we were there on that court date. Okay, that was not relevant to no state civil actions. Okay, they wanted to talk about state civil actions to fill the record up with things that would cause an appellate court to be biased or prejudiced against them. I mean, against Moses as the debtor, but it didn't work out the way they thought it was going to work out. Okay. It says, question, very briefly, Mr. McCormick, are you a plaintiff in a civil action filed in the Franklin County Common Pleas Court? I pled the fifth. I said I plead the fifth. He asked me another question, Mr. Timothy Riedel. He said, are you a plaintiff with your brother in a case against, and he named all of the defendants, okay? I told him, I said, I plead the Fifth Amendment again, Fifth Amendment invoked, as you can see here on the screen, okay? The court said, let me ask you all to pause for 1 minute. Miss French is telling me there's a mechanical problem here. Okay, I guess Miss French, being the court reporter, she was indicating to the judge that I guess something was going on with the system, that there was an issue. The clerk said, I don't believe we were ever off the record. This was still running. For some reason, I lost visual contact on the computer. The court said, okay, and told Mr. Riedel to proceed. Mr. Riedel said, so again, I ask you, Mr. McCormick, are you a plaintiff in the civil action case number, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I answer, and again, I tell you, Fifth Amendment, okay? On what basis are you asserting the Fifth Amendment? He asked. On the basis that that's my right as a citizen, and I feel like it. The court said, Mr. McCormick, that's unresponsive to the question. Okay, so this is the part where the judge tried to intervene to try to tell me that I can't invoke the Fifth Amendment because she don't see how it applies. So she was asking me to allow her the authority to give me a Fifth Amendment privilege or not. This judge, she probably need a severance package and an early retirement, because that's pitifully erroneous. That's pitiful. Okay? You don't help no opposing counsel to abridge anybody's natural rights, whether they're a debtor or whether they're a witness. You're in violation. You're in violation. You're in violation. Okay? You're telling me this record, this transcript here proves that she don't understand her oath of office. That maybe it's just a formality to her, but she doesn't understand the heart and the integrity. Okay? She don't understand the heart and the integrity and the purpose and the foundation on which her oath of office is situated. Okay? All right? Because these people is used to doing what they want to do. But you're not going to do what you want to do when it comes to us MCs. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do what you want to do when it comes to the M to the C, C-O-R-M-I to the C to the K. Okay? You're not going to do it. Now, going through this here, you can see where the judge says, the Fifth Amendment is for purposes of preserving your rights from incriminating yourself. And so far, you have not articulated that. So you will please answer the question. And I responded. I said, I will invoke the Fifth Amendment. The judge said, on what basis, sir? I said, Fifth Amendment. The judge said, Mr. McCormick, you are not assisting Mr. Moses McCormick's case. You're called here as a witness to assist him. And while you certainly have the right to invoke the fifth to keep from incriminating yourself, whether you are a plaintiff in a lawsuit pending in another court is not something which will incriminate yourself. And I responded to her. I said, and that's for me to determine. So I'm saying Fifth Amendment. So she said, are you going to answer every one of the questions in that fashion? And I told her, I sure am. And then she proceeded to say, Mr. Riedel, as you might perceive, this is not something that typically occurs in this court because people don't know what they're doing. They don't know their rights. Okay? They don't know how to do what I know how to do. That's why it don't typically occur. Okay? Okay. Now, with that being established, she said, I've never had anybody invoke the fifth before, so I would suggest at this point that you ask the question that you would like to have an answer to, and if they appear to be inappropriate for invocation of the Fifth Amendment, then I will figure out how to deal with that at the conclusion of this gentleman's testimony. Mr. Riedel said, very well, thank you, Your Honor. Okay. So I'm done reading this. Actually, no, let me go in a little further because this still continues on their shenanigans. Okay. The judge responds, thank you, to opposing counsel. Now, opposing counsel continues to go on harassing. Okay. He continues to ask about things that is not focused on the motion that got us there. He's focused on things outside of that. Okay. The question was, in the complaint that was filed in this civil action that I'm referencing, it appears that you and your brother Moses filed a second amended complaint on June 16, 2017. Is that correct? I said Fifth Amendment invoked. And he proceeded to ask another question. And that complaint asserts causes of action against all those named defendants that I mentioned, including claims for fraud, coercion, conspiracy, abuse of process, negligence, slander, defamation. And the answer was Fifth Amendment invoked. And so he went in to ask another question. I said Fifth Amendment invoked. And then the judge said, Mr. McCormick, I will again observe that no question that's been asked has any possibility of incriminating you for something. It's actually public record that I could go and seek out myself and take judicial notice of. Oh, really? Now, everybody that's watching, look at her words here. Everywhere it says the court, that's the judge, Kathryn Preston, talking. Okay, see Kathryn Preston with the bankruptcy court in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, the bankruptcy court that you're not even allowed to take a phone in the whole building. You're not even allowed to take a phone in the whole building. In the whole building. In the whole building. You're not allowed to take a phone in the whole building. You got to leave your phone in your car. Huh.
We're starting to. You ain't got to do that here in Akron.
We're starting to see why. You don't have to do it in the bankruptcy court in the Northern District of Ohio. They're all federal bankruptcy courts, right? So why does the one in Columbus, you can't even take your cell phone in the whole building? You have to leave it in the car. We're going to get that changed. We're going to get that changed, okay? This bullshit going to stop. Now, let's see. So she's saying that she could have actually took judicial notice. So basically she's saying that under her own accord, sua sponte, she could have went and she could have dug and found out herself the facts. Okay? So if you would have did that, you would have taken judicial notice of the fact that Mr. Moses McCormick shouldn't even be in this bankruptcy court. He shouldn't even be under no Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He shouldn't have even been able to file a bankruptcy. He shouldn't even be in a bankrupt situation. Okay? So let's talk about what you could have took judicial of a public record. Okay? You could have took judicial notice of the public record that there was a fraudulent divorce case that had went on. You have enough knowledge as a bankruptcy judge to know that that divorce case was fraudulent in Judge Kim Elena Brown's courtroom with the Franklin County Domestic Court. And you knew Magistrate Brian Elliott's court orders were legal nullities. You a federal judge. Okay? You practiced in Florida with the big kahunas. You know how it go. So all this, you sitting up here, you put your foot in your mouth in this. And that's why you have it concealed on Pacer.com under Moses's bankruptcy record. It is item 133 filed on the bankruptcy case. Item 133. 3 or item 134. One of those items right off the top of my head without looking at it. It's an item 134 or item 133 that is filed on the bankruptcy case that you guys have concealed off. You have this transcript that I'm showing these people right here. You have this concealed because it shows just how pitiful you are. You scums. Making all that money a year as a judge. Okay? When somebody can come right out of high school and come right in there and do what you do. You scum. You scum. She's going to say, she's going to tell me, Mr. McCormick, I will again observe that no question that's been asked has any possibility of incriminating you for something. It's actually public record. That's for me to decide. Let me decide that. If I want to not answer the question, you can't compel me to answer the question. You can't compel me to answer the question. You don't have that kind of authority. You don't have that kind of power. Judge Judy lied to you, okay? She lied. Okay? Now, she tell me, you are not assisting Mr. Moses McCormick's case. And if I was saying everything to assist it, you're not going to interpret it anyways. And that's why we're in the circuit court. Because you're not going to do what you want to do. You're going to follow these rules. And anybody else who don't want to follow these rules, they're going to get that work. And they're going to get exposed. And they orders is going to be put on blast for the world to see. Okay? Because one day, 1 million people will be watching this. They will be seeing this. You will be the laughing stock. These people is pitiful. Yeah, and I just wanted to point that out. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. But, you know, this needed to be put to the forefront. Y'all, these people don't get to hide. They don't get to hide and get away with this. Look at this. This is shenanigans in its purest form.
Criminal activity.
Yeah, she colluded with Judge Holbrook over there down there to Franklin County.
Civil conspiracy.
Franklin County Court, our civil court judge.
George and Hoffman.
And Hoffman at the bankruptcy court. He's a part of this too.
Sidoti's bankruptcy.
Todd Sidoti's bankruptcy judge. They're trying to protect their man. You can't protect your man from us. We too nasty for ya. We're coming.
Got fucked up.
We're coming for ya. We're coming. Yes, we are. And yes, it is real. Yes, it is real. When you watch this video, you pinch yourself. Yes, it's real. You see this stuff? This is embarrassing. Come on, Ohio. Get it together. Get it together. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Okay? This is very pitiful. Very embarrassing. This is indicative that they have been doing what they've been wanting to do.
Ku Klux Klan.
So again, this has been covered up. When you go to the bankruptcy court, when you go to their public record, and you try to look at this, it's covered. It's covered. It's covered for a good reason. It's covered for a good reason. It's covered for a good reason. It's covered because they know they've been caught. They've been caught, and they've been caught good. We have everything we need to prove to these people. Okay? So again, this is sad. This is really sad. I hope they clean up them courts and put some real competent judges in there. Cause these judges that's I guess that's grandfathered in there, I guess. They are they're not operating adequately. They're not. Okay? So that's all I have. That's all I have. I'm not gonna drag this thing out, but yeah, they were pitiful. She was helping She was trying to help the opposing counsel to abridge my right. How pitiful of a lady.
Cinderella.
Well, that's all I have. Enjoy.